It's an issue impossible to ignore anymore. Social media and high screen time has become such a scourge, so unprecedented that literally everywhere on the planet, parents are now alarmed. Obsessive screen watching, doom scrolling, algo-driven madness affects not just children and teens, mind you, but all of us. Anywhere you go, and you would attest to it yourself, people are bending over their screens. The young, the old, and everyone in between is always caught on their screens. It's beyond an epidemic. But it has finally become inevitable that at least as far as the young are concerned, we need to do more. So after Australia's ban on social media for under 16s, the entire world is waking up to this possibility. Already, many states in India have started mulling a similar ban. Courts have talked about this, and even the Chief Economic Advisor mentioned this issue in his report before the budget. So is it time for a social media moratorium for young adults? This question has become even more pressing today as we heard the news of 3 minor girls jumping off the 9th floor of their building just because of a game addiction. So are screens a resource and access to the world, empowerment of the young, or have they become a deadly danger to our kids? That debate is coming up in just a bit. But first up, let me tell you about this tragic incident from Ghaziabad. 3 minor sisters jumped to their deaths from the 9th floor of their apartment in Bharat City Society. The victims are identified as 3 sisters: Nishika, who was 16, Prachi, who was 14, and Pakhi, who was only 12. Preliminary police reports link the incident to an addiction to a task-based Korean online game. Police recovered an 8-page diary entry and a suicide note from them. This note stated, "Read everything written in this diary because all of it is true. We can't leave Korea," the girls wrote. "We are ending our lives." The investigation into this case has revealed some chilling details pointing towards an extreme obsession with online gaming and a desire to live in Korea. Now, some of the notes that have been accessed, what do they suggest? So this is one suicide note of sort that has been accessed. It expresses an intense, fanatical, arguably addictive obsession with Korean culture, especially Korean games. And the girls explicitly requested their parents to read their entire diary. What does this note say? They apologized to their parents for the step that they were about to take. इस डायरी में जो कुछ भी लिखा है वो सब पढ़ लो क्योंकि ये सब सच है. Read now. I am really sorry. Sorry, Papa is one of the notes that these girls left. Now, during the search of the apartment, investigators discovered several short, scribbled messages written on walls of the room. One of the phrases read, "Make me a heart broken," possibly from the game, some sort of a phrase that they had become accustomed to using. Another phrase scribbled on the wall said, "I am very, very alone. My life is very, very alone." And it was all crossed out as well. So it was signaling some sort of a clear mental stress or distress that these girls were undergoing. So what is this Korean game? It's apparently called 50 Days, 50 Tasks. And the cost of playing it is higher than anyone expected. The early levels feel like a harmless fandom challenge. Players are asked to adopt a Korean nickname to build a new identity. They watch specific shows or horror clips at odd hours of the night. By the middle levels, the tasks shift from fandom to isolation. The game apparently demands total loyalty, from skipping school to secret objectives, maintaining secrecy from parents and friends. As day 50 approaches, the tone turns dark. The virtual friend becomes a captor. They use emotional pressure, psychological warfare, threats of abandonment to keep the player trapped in a cycle of fear and dependency. And then comes the final task. The ultimate objective is as tragic as it is terrifying. The game allegedly encourages young children to commit suicide as the final win. And this is not the first time such a game has come to light. This is one in line of many such harmful games that have taken lives in the past, globally and also in India. Blue Whale is one such game. It was very infamous. The entire Blue Whale challenge, which originated in Russia. Participants were reportedly given 50 days, 50 tasks, starting with small activities, but gradually they all escalated Those who resisted were threatened, blackmailed to complete the challenges, creating an environment of fear and manipulation, and all of them included self-harm of some kind. Another viral trend known as Momo featured a grotesque, disturbing avatar. Users received frightening images and messages, often accompanied by instructions that caused extreme anxiety and emotional distress. The challenge spread quickly through social media and messaging platforms, highlighting how viral content can be weaponized to manipulate vulnerable users. Even mainstream games have had concerns in the past. They've had to be banned in the past. One such game is, of course, PUBG, a popular battle royale game. It was linked to gaming disorders, promoting compulsive play, violent behavior. For some players, the game contributed to addiction, disrupted routines, increased aggression, demonstrating that not all online engagement is just harmless fun. Now, several studies have been done which highlight the impact of games, especially on kids, and social media use, high use of screen time. A 2024 Journal of Nature and Science of Medicine study of 1,392 participants, of which 672 were adolescents, 720 were young adults from India, found that symptoms of depression were high in 37.9%, anxiety in 33% of those participants, high stress in 43.7%, low self-esteem in 25%. All due to high screen time and social media use and poor sleep, which worsens, of course, as an outcome, and that is true for adults as well. In September 2023, a national local circle survey of 11,500 plus urban parents found 61% of children between the ages of 9 and 17 are spending over 3 hours per day on social media, OTT platforms, and games all included. But as India's future continues to face a risk, a chorus to ban social media for kids, particularly those under 16, is now gaining momentum. As I mentioned, we've had the CEA advocating for restrictions for access for kids as far as digital content is concerned. We've had ministers in Andhra Pradesh studying legal framework to ban social media for under 16, quite on the lines of what has happened in Australia. Similarly, Goa is considering an Australia-like ban for kids below 16. We've also had Sonu Sood, popular actor, social worker, who has come out and said that ban of social media for children is an absolute need of the hour. So can we really do something like this? Can we emulate an Australian model? Can we save our kids from screen obsession, whether it is gaming, it is social media, even OTT content, mind you, which is unfit for very many age groups in the younger target audience? We'll get that debate coming up.
रात को 2 बजे अचानक यहाँ से तीनों बच्चे जो हैं उठकर दूसरे वाले कमरे में गई, जो ठीक इसके बगल में कमरा है। हम आपको दिखा रहे हैं, ये वो स्टूल है जिस स्टूल की बात की जा रही थी। इस स्टूल पर तीनों बच्चे चढ़ती हैं और उसके बाद यहाँ से एक एक करके यहाँ से छलांग लगा लेती हैं।
मैंने कहा था पापा सॉरी, हम कोरिया नहीं छोड़ सकते, कोरिया हमारी ज़िंदगी है, कोरिया हमारी जान है और आप हमें नहीं छुड़ा सकते। आई एम सॉरी, हम जान दे रहे हैं।
Let's go across to our experts joining us. Aarti C. Rajaratnam is an author and psychologist. Khushbu Jain is an advocate in the Supreme Court, and Meghna Pant, author and activist, also joining us. I want to begin with you, Aarti. I mean, we have discussed this for very many years. We know the harmful impacts of these games, online, OTT content, or even just scrolling as far as social media is concerned. And frankly, these effects are not restricted just to children, right? Even adults are exhibiting all kinds of effects of this. But why are we failing to come to some sort of a conclusion or come together to act against it? Do you think it's time now that at least for under 16, we have to curb this content?
I think we are a little too late. I still feel that, these bans should have happened 10 years back when we already knew from 2009. In 5 years, we knew that, the brain was getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Right from symptoms of autism-like features that children were showing. If you've read The Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt, he specifically talks about how in the last 10 years, so many mental health issues have cropped up, specifically linking it to screen time. So I feel it's not just a ban. Before we get to a ban, we need to have open spaces for children to play. Shrinking play spaces is one of the reasons why parents have no other option but to give children a screen and keep them at home. Secondly, policing, making safe spaces for children, whether it's in school, in play areas, etc. Because when you ban something, you need to have alternative behaviors. You need to have a space that is safe for children. Without doing that, just bringing in a ban and saying, hereafter children can't do it, then they're going to find ways to, hack into it. They're going to find ways to, break the rules and things like that. And parents themselves will start allowing children to use their own email IDs or whatever to access this. So without creating the right alternative or the ecosystem that's required, just a ban may not help in this case. So I hope I've made myself clear.
Yes, no, we're opening our phone lines as well. We would love to hear from parents or others, elders, sisters, brothers who may be seeing these behavior, particularly in the younger generation today. I mean, we are all of the generation also, Meghna, that grew up with some gadgets or screens around us. But, the content was very different. It's not just having screens with you. The content today is very predatory.
Absolutely, Shivani. But I also feel like the death of these three girls is very heartbreaking. But blaming a mobile game is intellectual laziness. I don't think apps are raising children. I don't think algorithms can replace parents or teachers or neighbors or a functional community. When three minor girls are spiraling so visibly for so long, the failure is in collective, right? It's very close to home. So, games like Blue Whale and all are not the ones that are creating suicidal intent. Let's get that right. They are exploiting it. Human intervention is the issue. If a child can be coached or manipulated into dying, then the issue is human intervention, not the gaming system. So
are parents to blame here, given that these girls seemingly were addicted for 2 years?
I'm sorry, I hate saying it at a time like this, but banning content is going to treat the symptom, not the problem. Connection is the solution, not prohibition. And Shivani, if you remember when we were growing up as children, as girls, especially in India, we survived daily indignities, groping in buses, getting molested on streets, getting all the time silence. But every Indian woman carries that memory, but we were not made strong by magic. We were taught explicitly and brutally that life is going to hit you hard. You have to learn to stand. And what I'm finding is there's so much mollycoddling of
Young kids today, yes.
Infantilizing them. We are robbing them of resilience, of courage and agency. Children are not glass. And let's not emulate Western societies that are built on individualism and loneliness. Our Indian society even now functions as a collective. That is our strength. So in a country where everyone is noticing everything, especially about girls, हर चीज notice करते हैं, हर रोज हमें इतने comments सुनने पड़ते हैं. How are these three children falling through the cracks? So I think since
But can I just come in here? Maybe Aarti can also step in on this. I think parents themselves are voicing increasingly that they are unable to control their kids' habits. And there is so much peer pressure today. You can't deny your kid a mobile phone if everybody in his or her classroom has one. That destroys your relationship with your kid.
See, now there are going to be no simple solutions on all of this. And it's very easy to, pass the buck on to someone saying parents should, students should. But let's, take it in context. I feel that model is more important than manipulation. Right? So unless as an adult, I am willing to put my phone down and say, I'll have a conversation with you. Meghna beautifully said it's in the connection. We are not willing to make that time to connect with our children, number one. Secondly, peer pressure. See, if you have a healthy sense of self, if you have a healthy relationship within your family, and you are able to, play as an equal in your peer equations, even if you do not have a mobile, I know children who have decided not to have. In fact, there is a recent study that says a lot of Gen Zs have gone into the old, dial-up phones without the screens and things
Yes,
like
yes.
that. There are options. There are options provided we have a strong, deep connection to the self. And for that to emerge, we'll need to create, like the relationship-based culture that we are, we need to build robust relationships. The problem is that our grandparents, our parents, each of them is addicted to a screen. They're watching content constantly. And Azhar Raskin brought in the infinite scrolling. You can just go on. If you remember, at least when I was growing up and we had the internet when I was in college, you had to come to the end of the page and then, had to again, go back and
Yeah.
scroll up and stuff.
It's all become
Azhar
too
Raskin,
easy.
it's become very easy. It's called the law of least effort.
Yeah.
If you really look at it neurologically, it's called the law of least effort. So for no effort, I'm getting such huge highs in terms of dopamine or any other reward. So that's where I think really we need to start
No, but
taking
that's where
steps.
this whole ban question comes in. And Khushbu, I want to bring you in. The ban question is coming in only because you can do all of the rest. But if children still had that phone even for 1 hour or 2 hours a day, they're going to be doom scrolling. They're going to be exposed to not just inappropriate content for teens or younger kids, but also predatory content. We know a lot of stories about kids, getting catfished, etc. as well. The ban is coming in here only because there's seemingly no other option right now to let them be kids for longer. It's also about their innocence and about their childhood.
I think that's where absolute ban is something which is impossible in today's age. I mean, both the panelists before me were very right in putting it across that we are living in the age of technology, where when it comes to security, you give phones to your kids, where when it comes to learning, the kids are being exposed to the phone and you cannot take it away from them. Now, the moment you ban it, they will learn some other ways to come online. They will learn how to, navigate that space more than you and me would understand that how to navigate that
Yeah.
space and cross it over. And that's where I think instead of complete ban, there should be a mechanism, because these platforms do understand, including gaming platform or social media platform or any platform, they understand who is behind the screen very well. They have mechanisms to know that, and that's how they increase their user base, or that's how they put in that dopamine rush kind of thing, and they implement those things. So that's where I think age tiered participation is something very important, where you don't say a kid under this age cannot come or absolute ban into it. Rather, let there be regulation into it to an
But
extent.
regulation has failed too. I'm sorry, Khushbu.
No,
regulation is the
no.
worst
I'm-
thing. The
You'll be
moment
out
I
on the
hear
regulation.
regulation, I roll my eyes. No regulation works.
No, regulation without implementation is the challenge that we are facing.
It's always going to have
Implementation is the
implementation
problem.
problems. Precisely what I'm saying. In a country
so
of
that- this is
1.4
where-
billion,
no, this is
implementation
where-
is going to be a problem.
This is where my suggestion would be that age verification liability comes on not you and me. It comes on the social media platform. It comes on the gaming companies, that they need to verify. If they fail to verify and a kid has stepped forward and let go of it, the punishment is not with the child, not with the parent, but it lies with
No,
the
of
gaming
course,
company.
it's going to be with the social media companies. That's what
Absolutely.
Australia
So
did.
transfer the punishment is where they will make sure that the age verification is done in a
No,
right
no,
manner.
exactly. So we are
Until
talking
verification
about the
is done.
Australian example here, where the onus has been put on the platforms. Of course, children and parents cannot have the onus on them. Although I am not shying away from saying that parents will continue to have the added responsibility of ensuring to see what their kids are doing. They can't wash their hands off either, no matter how troublesome teenagers may be. But I just want to understand from you, Khushbu, as the laws exist today, instituting an under 16 social media ban, would it require a legal change, the central law change?
Absolutely. When you are bringing in such kind of a change, you would require a law to be come in place, which says that there has to be a social media ban or certain social media ban when it comes to age appropriateness. But you have a DPDP Act, which will be applicable from May 2027. Now, this DPDP Act talks about children very specifically, where it says that none of the entities, that is, none of the data fiduciary. Data fiduciary's definition is very enlarged. Anybody, it can be social media, it can be gaming, it can be any entity. They are not allowed, even after a consent, to showcase any content which can have an impact on the growth of the child, which can have a derogatory impact on a child. And if that is done, there are hefty penalties of 200 crore per instance that can be put on these data fiduciaries. Now, this is yet to be implemented in the May 2027, which puts across, and they also put in a clause that there has to be a verifiable consent element, something which Australia has brought in, where the verifying part, the onus lies on the data fiduciary, that is the company, to verify the person who is a child and take a consent from their local guardian or a parent. Now, even if they take a consent, in all these scenarios, they can do everything else, but they cannot show anything which can have an impact on the growth of the child, which can have a mental impact. So that's something which is existing right now. But yes, implementation will come in May 2027. But I would again agree and go ahead with it that there has to be something which is a combination of parents or duty of care when it comes to safety by design, duty of care by the platforms, and also parents. I think together everybody has to come together with that. And I would say every age, you cannot shy away from knowing the technology, including games, including platforms, including messaging apps. If you are living in this age, even if it doesn't concern you, if your kid is playing, you have to be part of it. Start playing, start involving yourself.
Khushbu,
without involving, you can't know.
Khushbu, I'm really sorry. I don't want to sound pessimistic or, antagonistic here, but, our realities are that young couples, Meghna, are double income households, right? Parents do not have the time. You do not always have that one parent with a child, particularly after a certain age group of 3, 4, 5, once they start going to schools. Now, you cannot expect parents are going to be there when they go out with their friends. No children like that. You cannot expect that parents are going to be in school. There's a limit to how much parents can do, which is, I personally feel that it may seem daunting right now. It may seem that there are going to be withdrawal symptoms for certainly even millennials and Gen Z. But if you were to ban social media for under 16 today, you could at least save Gen Alpha and beyond. I think for them, we need to start now. Kids who are 1, 2, 3, 4, who haven't been trapped by this net yet.
But I don't know, Shivani. I feel like banning gaming or social media for minors is like forbidding young people to breathe because pollution exists. I feel like the world is so digital now. You can't stick like a carbon filter and pretend,
No, I'm only talking about social media sites. Of course, they're going to be online. I'm not saying ban internet for them. I'm saying ban social media apps for them, which is what Australia has done.
But what I'm trying to say that, instead of doing that, they are still be able to access it. Invest in digital literacy, invest in critical thinking, safe online spaces, mental health support. There's so much awareness. And I'm sorry, again, I'm pointing this out. If children are addicted, they're depressed, they're disassociating, they're disappearing into screens, someone has seen it. Someone has normalized it. Someone has kind of, postponed action. So external triggers, of course, may exist and they'll continue to exist in some shape or form for the rest of all generations to come will face different external triggers. I'm saying accountability lies within the ecosystem around the child. So it's time we stop blaming content and start asking harder questions of how we are raising.
But Meghna, in Australia, much less population burden, all of the developed world, conveniences available, you've got great medical systems, mental health systems. They had to do it because there was no other way.
Yeah. But again, they have governments, say from Australia to France, China to even parts of the US, they debated limiting children's access to social media and gaming. They have proposed age verification laws, screen time caps, even content moderation. But bans, like I'm saying, they're a very blunt instrument. They're very easy to announce on TV. But in reality, in practice, kaise effect hoga, yaar? Young people are going to slip through digital
They just don't
walls.
have a Twitter account. How bad is it going to be? They don't have an Instagram account. They don't have a TikTok account. They can go on. They can go online.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be so easy. It's not going to be so easy.
So I'm saying it's not going to be easy for current generations. But imagine if a child is 1 or 2 right now, that child is going to grow up in a world where children don't have social media accounts. It's okay. We lived without it. They will learn to live without it as well.
No. Let's not simplify this because there's several layers of truth in this one. You need to understand that no matter what happens on the outside, the onus lies within the family. We'll
Yes,
need to start making family the primary driver for this change. Because if we do not equip parents with the kind of skill sets, the kind of thinking, and the kind of resources required to have an alternative. Now, when we were growing up, there was no technology. All that I understand. But right now, we do have this exposure to technology. And what we need to rise up to is how do we equip our children with the skill sets required to manage this without getting addicted.
Fair
That
enough.
is
I
the
think
real
that is
question
also
here.
good. Resilience should be built in as far as young kids are concerned. But please understand, parents cannot follow kids everywhere they go. That is not ideal either. They're going to learn from other kids, from
I'm
parents
not
of
suggesting
other
that. I'm
kids.
saying that you start with the family as a model, right? Once you learn certain behaviors,
But
you
don't
don't
kids have this
unlearn them.
rebellious attitude where they would listen
Children,
less to your
see,
less to your parents and then they
anybody
listen
will
more to
have
their
rebellion.
friends?
Anybody will have rebellion because that is engineered into our system. But
Yeah.
what also needs to be understood is that as human beings, when we are in healthy, connected relationships, we do go that extra
Okay.
mile to make sure that we are cooperating with each other.
Okay.
See, as a
No, parents
family,
should definitely be equipped with knowing what are the danger signs. Certainly, they should not, the red flags should not go unnoticed. But I want to ask Khushbu this. Khushbu, some of the Indian states are looking at an individual level of, instituting such bans. Is that possible at all? Is that legally possible, or will this have to be a central decision?
No, it is legally possible. It's a concurrent subject. They can bring in state laws in the absence of any central law that come in place. If there is a central law, that would be applicable on all the states. Legally, it is possible because at last, see, we have to understand with everything, we are talking about the future of our country. And there have been instances where we understand that there are a lot of state actors, anti-India, who push in that content so that our future is not in the direction that we need. That's where I think that, specifically at least up till age 13, there should be no presence of any kind of high risk social media platforms available to them. Once you do that, a parent doesn't have to fight with its child to whether to
Push
give them
them off the
access or
screen.
give them-
Exactly.
Absolutely. And the second point that comes is when it comes to open chat rooms where there are strangers who are able to contact you, there are a lot of self-harm or a sexualized content that is put across. Now just convert this to a physical world. And it would be easy for us to understand if we have that analogy in place. If you look into, this is not a moral policing, this is not something that we are doing that we are going to control people or their right to freedom of being on the internet, but just see it in the physical form. In an offline world, a 10-year-old is not allowed to get into a bar. A 10-year-old
Yeah.
is not allowed to get into watching or get into a theater which is an age above movie. A 10-year-old would not be allowed to drive. If these things we can do it in a physical world, the
We
same
can do
thing,
it,
same
yeah.
logic comes when it comes to
Yes,
online
and
work.
there can be
I think that's
arguments
where
that
that's
children
safety by
still
design
drink.
has to be implemented.
Exactly, and
if
there are
safety
still
by design
arguments
is
that
not there,
children
law
can
has to
drink
come in.
even though they are underage, children can drive even though they are underage, children can have sex even though they are underage. All of those will always exist. But at least I personally feel there's no other way to deal with this than for at least the most vulnerable young section to completely make it, to take it out of their lingo, to take it out of their ecosystem. So that they don't see, oh, my friend has one, why don't I have this? Because I can't control somebody else's household, right? I can't control the level of devotion that another set of parents have for their kids. But my kid is going to be in the same classroom as that kid. So I have limits of how much I can instill to my kid. But Khushbu, one more clarification. If a state like Andhra Pradesh or Goa was to implement this, how does it work really? Just for that state, in those borders, kids are not allowed to have a social media profile. What if they travel to another state for a vacation? Then can they make a social media account? How does it work?
So this is where the problem comes, that do you have an extraterritorial jurisdiction of that specific law? Otherwise, it
Yeah.
is just in that area. So let's say, if I am from Madhya Pradesh, but I enter into Maharashtra and Maharashtra has banned it, then practically in that Maharashtra's vicinity, this would not be applicable that I can continue. But what if I've opened an account?
But how will
right?
it be implemented?
Exactly.
How would they
the
know?
implementation, that's what I'm saying. The implementation will be a bigger challenge for you when you have a state-specific law.
Exactly.
Because
I don't
can
think it will
always-
work either.
It won't work, because if I can register, I will just have to give a self-declaration that I'm not from Maharashtra, which is banned. I am
Yeah.
from Madhya Pradesh, and I just tick. They will not come and verify from me where I am from, or either
Yes.
my ID card issued is from some specific state, but I never reside in that state, and I can continue to be online over there. So
Okay.
whether you're putting it as a area-specific ban or you're putting it as a domicile, that I hail from that
Yes.
state and my ID.
No, the social media platforms will not
negate-
be able to distinguish
Yeah,
whether you are from a
absolutely.
certain state or not when you are registering.
Absolutely.
Internet providers, cell phone towers may, but internet providers might not be always able to, if you have your locations off, etc. So I think the only solution is really a central solution, as the CEA mentioned. But can I quickly play out what the Spanish Prime Minister has also said? After Australia, there are other countries, but even Spain is now considering such a ban for under 16. Let's listen in.
Spain will ban access to social media for minors under the age of 16. Platforms will be required to implement effective age verification systems, not just checkboxes, but real barriers that work. Today, our children are exposed to a space they were never meant to navigate alone. A space of addiction, abuse, pornography, manipulation, violence. We will no longer accept that. My government will work with our public prosecutor to investigate and pursue the infringement committed by Grok, TikTok, and Instagram. And we will defend our digital sovereignty against of foreign coercion.
All right, I just have a minute left, so I'll just ask Meghna this. Meghna, in this case, for example, in Ghaziabad, these girls talked about loneliness, that they are so alone. What is the cure of loneliness? I mean, what would your advice be to young parents of what to do?
I have two small girls that I'm raising as a single mother. And like I said earlier, I think the answer is connection. I don't think it's banning anything. I think absolutely regulation has to be there. There have to be privacy protections, age-appropriate design codes, parental controls, transparent algorithms. All that is one part of the solution. But the main solution is be there for your child, listen to your child. If you're seeing red flags in your own child, please stand up, speak up, and their child is looking at you for direction. They're not looking at their friends. Ultimately, family is everything in India. So let's not forget that, and let's have faith that if we are there for our children will not leave us. So I think that's something, every Indian household knows and emulates, but sometimes we need reminders like this, unfortunately, to remind us that there is beauty in tragedy. And maybe this is a wake-up call for all parents that don't abandon your children, especially when you're seeing very obvious mental health concerns, spirals taking place in your own household.
Yes, I have to leave it at that. I do thank all of you for joining us for this very robust debate. We'll, of course, keep talking about this issue.